Okay, so we're discussing faith and learning and reasoning, experience and intuition. Yeah, so, and then we ran out of time. We didn't have time. We each went around, but we didn't have time to build on each other's ideas, so we might do that after lunch. But just to add to the conversation, I thought I might explain what faith means in Buddhism. First of all, the word faith in English doesn't, our usual connotation of the meaning of the word faith in English does not correspond very well with the Tibetan term depa, which is often translated as faith. So it's a difficult topic when you don't have the correct English word, because the Buddhist word is a combination of faith, confidence, and trust, kind of all rolled into one. Usually when we hear faith in English, at least many of us think, how did somebody put it? Faith is what you have when you don't know something. Yeah. So, yeah, and so we think of blind faith, you know. Well, I don't know, so somebody said it, or that's what people believe, or it sounds good, so yeah, we go along with it. But that's not the meaning of faith in Buddhism. Okay, thank goodness. So when they talk about three kinds of faith, or three kinds of confidence or trust, I haven't come up with a good English word. If somebody can come up with a better one, I would really like it. But there's three kinds. The first kind is admiring faith or admiring confidence. And this is when you look at somebody's qualities or the qualities of an object, and they appeal to you and they seem good. And so you have a kind of attraction or faith or confidence. You know, so in terms of our spiritual practice, we may reflect on the qualities of the Buddha, reflect on the qualities of the Dharma. You know, when we listen to teachings and they talk about wisdom and compassion and tolerance and forgiveness, and, you know, we have some kind of admiration for those qualities. So just that admiration is a kind of trust or confidence in something. Okay? Now, of course, we had to learn something to learn that there are those qualities. Yeah? And then the second kind of faith is aspiring. And that's where you see something that looks like, you know, in a spiritual context, oh, I want to become like that. So you have the aspiration to become like that, and that is a kind of faith. It's not just aspiration, but it's a kind of confidence that is mixed in with the aspiration to become like that. So again, you may have learned about Buddha nature, learned about the Four Noble Truths and how they function, and so you aspire to get rid of the first two and to actualize the last two. And that aspiring confidence really moves you. It gives you, you know, some energy to do something. So the admiring faith gives you like a happy kind of feeling, you know, there's goodness in the world. Yeah. And the aspiring confidence gives you the momentum to start going in that direction. And then the third kind is confidence or faith or trust based on conviction. And so this is when, again, it involves learning something, but you've thought about it and it makes sense, and you've used reason to examine it. Or maybe, you know, you've had some experience that this thing really describes. And so, you know, because of having in some way understood it and tested it, you have confidence in how it works. Yeah, and so this too is this kind of faith is very important in the path, because if you just hear the Four Noble Truths and say, well, it sounds good, you know, that's nice, and you may have some aspiration to abandon the first two and actualize the last two. But unless you really deeply understand what they are, your faith is not going to be very stable. And so this kind of learning and understanding that comes from using reasoning, but here it means correct reasoning. In the Kalama Sutra, when the Buddha said don't believe things just on logic, he was talking there about specious logic, where people just make up all sorts of strange reasons for things. But here we're really trying to investigate deeply and see, you know, what's the nature of reality? How do things function together? What causes what? What is produced from what? And so that kind of faith or conviction that comes from understanding is really, really important, you know. And then, of course, when we actually put things into practice and we gain some experience, you know, our faith can even be even more solid. But then the question comes up sometimes of how do you even know when to trust your experience? Because we experience all sorts of things, don't we? You know, and you can sit down and meditate and dream up all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was first learning to meditate, I had gone to something, I don't know what, but all those people were like leaning backwards when they were meditating. So of course, I'm leaning backwards and having some experience, and it's like, you know, is this real or is this fake? Well, it's, you know, I finally figured out it's kind of fake. There's nothing really substantial. Okay, you have some experience, but what does it really mean, and where did it come from, and, you know, where's it going to take you? And yeah, and I, you know, people will come to me sometimes, and well, I heard the story actually. Let's put it this way. I heard the story once of one Lama saying to somebody that he had had a vision of Tara. And the other person was like very impressed. Oh, you had a vision of Tara? Oh, whoa, whoa, tell me about it. And this meditator was just completely relaxed. It was like, well, I had a vision of Tara. Maybe, you know, maybe it was Tara, maybe it wasn't. It all depends on how I practice and what I do. You know? And I thought that was really, really good, because sometimes, you know, we have an experience, oh, I had a vision of Tara, I'm special, Tara came to talk to me, you know, and we get all revved up. And you can see that there's a lot of thrill and excitement in it, yeah? And then I think of that experience of this one meditator, and, well, it really depends on what you do with it. Yeah, do you use it to get attached and tell people that you've had this fantastic experience, and then to think that, you know, oh, I must be getting somewhere, I'm really special? Or do you have that experience and think, oh wow, it's nice to know that experience, you know, exists, and that was really wonderful. But I also know my own mind, and if I'm going to become Tara, I still have a lot of work to do. Yeah, I have to work on my anger and my attachment and everything like that. So having that experience was wonderful, and it gives me something to look forward to. But I actually know that I still have some work to do, so I'm not going to get all excited and run around telling my friends about it. Okay, which I think is something very, you know, that's a much better approach to those kinds of things. Okay. So that was just a little bit more to add to the conversation, and we can talk some more about it after lunch.